Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. It does not shock me anymore, and I don't want to sound callous about that, but it doesn't shock me anymore to see the level of callousness, the level of apathy and rage that people initiate all the time. It never ceases to amaze me. I see this quite often on my job. People just go off. They're hollering in the middle of the street. They're running after each other unprovoked. It's like they're possessed. And to some degree, I believe many of them are, but that's another story and that's another video. But it never ceases to amaze me. And I'm talking about here in this video that I found out and reading an article from Red State that a 4-year-old boy shot at a police. It wasn't a toy gun or anything like that. Is literally shot at this police officer. Now, before I even get into my commentary, we're going to get into this article, and I'm going to read this shocking information to you because we go from the subline with the young man, defending the people in the Indiana Mall. We go from the subline to the ridiculous. And this is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. But let's get into this. I'm going to read this article, and then I'm going to give you my commentary. And this is kind of like this is from Red State, so the article oftentimes you can see the opinion, you can hear the opinion rather in the writer of the article, but it appears that he is stating factual data, so that's what I want to get at. So let's begin this article. If you're searching for a story to basically encapsulate the state of America, this should be a solid contender. In Midvale, Utah, a man visited a McDonald's drive-thru. Inspecting his received order, he deduced fast food workers had made a mistake. From Salt Lake City, I guess this is the commentary on this. Sadate Johnson. These names are crazy. Sadate Johnson, 27, became upset with workers who prepared his surf and turf burger order, according to a police report. Now, it's been years since I've been to a McDonald's because we had a McDonald's down at Tower City where I work at years ago. They moved out, and I haven't been to a McDonald's since. So I don't know what the heck a surf and turf burger is. Anyway, Johnson went back through the drive-up window and exchanged words with employees. Sadat had an idea of how to ensure superior service. He brandished a pistol. At that point, employees asked Johnson to pull around to the front of the store and wait while they fixed his order. People make mistakes, man. Come on. It should come as no surprise that they dialed 911. Unified police were soon at the scene. The first arriving officers approached Sadat's Honda. They ordered him to exit the CRX. He instead rolled down his window. So they pulled him from the car. They're telling him to exit the vehicle. He rolls down his window. See, this is what I'm talking about. As cops struggle with the man, unbelievable. You pull a pistol out, so of course the cops gonna come in and aggressively. You put a pistol out on the employees, man. Unfortunately, this guy is an African American. I don't even like using the term African American because African American seems like a noble term. I don't even like using the term because when black people act like this, I don't even want to call them African Americans. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and I'm sick of it actually. So the patrolman suddenly shouted, "Gun, gun, gun." A single gunshot followed. Then more commands rang out. Shots fired, drop the gun. The next explanations were unusual. Kid, 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 kid. Shortly after the incident, the New York Post reported, while he was being apprehended, police said the dad instructed his 4-year-old child, who was still in the vehicle, to shoot the officers. Cops said they saw a small arm and hand holding a gun appear from inside the vehicle. A police officer hit the gun as it fired, forcing the bullet upward and it hit a restaurant awning. Listen to this. I'm going to read that again. A police officer hit the gun as it fired. Now, the police officer could have fired at the child because clearly the child's firing at them. But he didn't because he probably didn't want no hoopla from people saying, you shot a 4-year-old kid. Go ahead. The force of the bullet upward, and it hit a restaurant awning. Right there could have hit somebody. Somebody could have got shot there by the straight bullet. Can't win for losing because of idiocy like this. The officer's arm was burned by the muzzle of the gun. The round flew just above the heads of 2 boys in blue. The children, of which the younger was 3, were escorted into the McDonald's. The pistol-packing preschooler told the fuzz why he busted a cap. He got these terms, busted a cap. This is the article, this is his writer's article. It's just kind of weird to use these terms. I grabbed my dad's gun and tried to shoot the police so he could be free and do what he wanted. Did you hear that? According to this report, the boy said, I grabbed my dad's gun and tried to shoot the police so he could be free and do what he wanted. Now, if this is true, this is totally sick, disgusting, demented, and it shows the level that our country has come to. The hand cannon used by the baby was a Smith & Wesson SD9 VE. I don't know what that is. I'm not a gun expert, so those of you that know about guns, you would know what that is. More from CBS 2. Johnson would later tell investigators that it was not the first time his 4-year-old boy had taken his gun. The shooting occurred back in February. In June, Sadat pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and child abuse. He was sentenced to 120 days in jail as well as probation. And this week, the incident's body cam footage was released. And if you go to the article, you can see this. You can see the video for yourself. Not long ago in America, well, I'm going to read that part. You can read that part on your own, but I'm going to end the article there. This is a very, very sad case here. A very, very sad case and disheartening case. But as I said earlier, not surprising to me personally. And what I mean by not surprising to me personally, because this is the state that America is in. When you move God out of everything, when you move moral principles out of the schools, when you move moral principles, not just out of the schools, but out of society, period. Okay. And you move these moral parameters out of society, period. People are going to do what their dark hearts tell them to do. This parent, if you want to call him a parent, clearly had a dark enough heart that he was willing to use his 4-year-old child as the mechanism to shoot at the police officers. Now, let's assume that this 4-year-old child shoots at the police officer and one of the police officers get hit and dies. And let's assume that the other police officers, scared to death that someone is shooting at them, they don't know where, they just see a little arm shooting at them, start shooting back. They kill the 4-year-old kid. Not knowing it is a 4-year-old kid, all they know is an arm sticking out the window is shooting a real gun, and one of their fellow officers had been gunned down. I commend the police officer that knocked the gun out the boy's hand. His arm got burned by the muzzle, knocked the gun out the boy's hand, and the bullet went up. It could have killed somebody, shot somebody, injured somebody there. Like I said earlier, that could have injured someone. But my point is this. What if these police officers ended up shooting this 4-year-old boy? That would have been a whole bunch of nonsense from Black Lives Matter and everybody else. The left would have jumped on it. Oh, these police officers are racist. Oh, this, oh, that. No one is paying attention to this scumbag father or daddy, or like they want to call, they don't want to use the term women anymore when it comes to pregnant, women getting pregnant. They don't want to use that anymore because the left believe that men can get pregnant too. So they say birthers. So what do you call a father like this? Because he certainly isn't a father. He certainly isn't a dad in my book. What do you call him? I call him a spermer. That's what I call him, a spermer. This spermer, because he's not a dad and he's not a father, he's a spermer, okay, uses his 4-year-old child to be the assailant in a situation, as I said, what if his child got gunned down? Then it'd be a whole nother story that the left would jump all over. This shows you the level that our country is in. That's why you have to have morals and principles. If you don't have morals and principles and you remove morals and principles, you're going to have this kind of chaotic behavior. The founders of this country, regardless of how imperfect they were, understood that certain laws had to be put in place to restrain bad behavior. You can't remove bad behavior out of people's hearts. I believe only God can do that. But you can put laws and ordinances in place, particularly moral laws and moral ordinances in place that will restrain that kind of behavior. But when you remove those kind of moral restraints, then you're going to have chaos. And the founders of this country understood that. That's why they put certain moral restraints in the Constitution, because they understood that there would be people later on, leaders later on, who would have tyrannical mindsets, who would want absolute total control. And so the founders put mechanisms in place to restrain that domineering attitude that is dwelling in the hearts of every individual on the face of the earth. It's there. It just manifests in different ways with different people. So you need laws and ordinances in place to keep it in restraint. Because those laws and ordinances have been removed, in part, we have situations like this, where you have a spermer like this male who's willing to use his 4-year-old child to be a shooter, to shoot at the police. Sick and disgusting. This man should be put under the jail for all eternity and not come back. If he comes back, like comedians often say, he's going to have to come back and do time here. It's sick and disgusting. But it just goes to show you, man, what I just said. Moral restraints removed, you're going to have chaos. But what do you guys think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again on another Black Conservative.